Hi, Megha, once again. I
I
would
mean,
love to know, first of all, tell me about yourself, what you're doing currently. Maybe talk about your hobbies, what you like to do, what you're passionate about. Yeah, just tell me anything that you would want me to know about you as a first time introduction.
so hi everyone, I'm Megha Cherukuri. I'm a high school student passionate about STEM, particularly biology and health sciences, as I'm passionate about a career in in the medical field or medicine. And I've conducted multiple science fair projects. And beyond that, I enjoy mentoring students in STEM, like young students, like elementary school students, and finding ways to make science more accessible to everyone. My interest in STEM started early because my grandfather, he's actually a physician in India, and I lived with him for about 3 years. And I was really curious about, how the human body and how things worked. And participating in science fairs throughout my childhood really helped me channel that curiosity into like hands-on experiments. And seeing these real-world applications for biology really made me get really passionate about research and science in general. But apart from that, my other hobbies are like cross country. I really love running, and also I just started track and field, so I might try sprinting and hurdling as well. So those are some of
Wow.
my hobbies. And oh, one of my biggest hobbies is art. I've been doing art for like 5 years. Um, this also made me passionate about, NFTs.
Oh,
So
okay.
yeah, yeah. I could show a couple of my artworks later if we have time.
Yes, please. I was about to ask. So, do you
Yeah.
do more of digital or hand painting, hand
I've been
art?
doing more hand yeah, like fine art. But
Fine art.
digital is also really they're tied pretty closely.
Okay, okay. I'm already like very curious and I have so many questions in my mind, but I need to introduce myself first as well. So
Yeah.
I'm Nutan. I graduated in 2021 from IIT Bombay. I did my BTech in material science. Then I worked as a data analyst in various companies. I worked with various startups, SaaS, many things in childcare. I'm very passionate about emotional intelligence, behavioral science. I'm very passionate about education and mental health, to be honest. And I was lucky enough to be able to explore um, and share my vision, which is to educate people, educate kids for a better future that we are going into, and that I've been able to explore with Jetlearn. And I have also met some amazing, very intelligent leaders here, which I've been very grateful for. I've been given amazing opportunities to work on various projects with the kids, design curriculums and whatnot. Currently, I am a program manager, data analysis and business insights here, and I am taking the podcast here and I'm taking your interview today, which I'm very excited about. Okay, so there are a few questions I want to start with. The first question is, um, would you say, as a because over here in India, a lot of us women are uh, not kind of not conditioned to think that something like engineering is normal for us to pursue, something like medical, something less physically demanding, or you know what I mean. So when you were growing up, would you say that you also felt that maybe as a girl you fit into certain STEM fields more because you were a girl, or did you not did you never feel that way?
I personally growing up, like the environment that I was raised in and the mentors that I had, like my grandfather, my dad, and my mom, they were I think they were never like partial towards girls or boys because of course like my parents had two daughters, so they were
Mm-hmm.
always very like giving towards us, and they would tell us to, do whatever we want, like pursue fields in STEM that are, that there wasn't really a boundary for like that girls could do this and guys could do that. So I never really felt that way, but I can understand what that feels like. Because I know like stories of, like my mom or someone else females that I've known that have been treated that way. And yeah, I can understand that.
Okay. But you would say that you were blessed with um, peers,
Yeah,
family members who never made you feel the difference.
I'm very grateful for that. Yeah.
Okay, okay. And I'm guessing that you and your sister both share the same feeling towards this situation, right?
Yeah.
Okay, okay. So I remember you mentioned that your interest in STEM started with the science projects, science exhibitions. So, what's to be very precise, what sparked your interest in STEM fields?
So what sparked my interest in STEM fields? So when I started off, growing up, I was really interested in science. I think it was definitely like the different STEM programs over summer that I went into, like summer camps, or even like just my grandpa. He would allow me to read like different types of books on, biology or like life sciences or anatomy. I really got um, well. I I really understood, that type of science background from, my grandpa. And I really got interested in life sciences in specific and human anatomy. It seemed really interesting to me how the body worked, how the brain works.
Mm,
So I guess it was through books, through, you know, my grandpa and summer camps. Yeah, that's how I would phrase it.
okay, okay. I noticed that you mentioned your grandpa a lot. Would you say
Yeah.
that you spent a lot of time growing up with your grandpa and less with your dad or mom?
No, no, no. I was there for only like a couple years, as basically as a toddler, but we
Mm.
would go like every summer, and he really introduced me to the medical field and how he helped so many people, and that was really inspiring to me.
Tell me a little bit about your grandpa. Why was he very interested in, medical sciences?
Yeah, so he is actually a physician in India, a gold
Okay.
medalist. Yeah, so
Oh,
he- yeah, he's pretty accomplished. So he would really he had like multiple books of just about anatomy or um like the lungs or the heart, and I would be drawing those pictures and I would be trying to understand how it works. And that really made me interested in it. And another thing about me, I love to help people. It's like I think that's one of my goals in life, at least to help 10 people around me, the most I can. So I feel like going into medicine, and especially with my interest in, AI and healthcare
mm-hmm.
and the medical field, I feel like that would be a good place for me.
Okay. Would you say that you're an empathetic person in general?
Yes, yes, I am.
Okay, okay. That's very sweet. You have a heart of gold already. You are very passionate about helping people, and you've already done great. You've already achieved great feat in that field. So I'm very, very inspired by you right now. Even though you're 15 years old, right? If I'm correct.
Yes, I'm 15.
Inspiring. Okay. Okay, the next question is, can you tell us about your first, or no, not the first. Can you tell us about your most recent project um, in STEM, and also maybe showcase a little bit of your project if possible by sharing your screen or what or however you want, just to
Yeah.
give us a
Yeah.
little idea about what you've done.
All right. So, if I'm just current projects, right? Because I have had like a multiple in the past. Was it just a
Most
current
recent
project?
or whatever. Okay, or you can just select one project that you're super proud of and that you would like to share with the world and inspire the kids.
Yeah. So, okay, I'm just going to talk about. So, my past science fair project that has been completed is a CNN-based skin cancer detection project.
Okay.
So that was really so that one it wasn't really much coding, but it was
Hmm.
kind of like a non-coding project. I just used, a different model, and then we found a data set, and that project really was interesting to me because I did it for the science fair actually, and I got third place, and I was really proud of that one. And the CNN skin cancer detection project. So you put in an image of, a skin cancer mole or something that you think might be malignant, and you put it in and it detects whether it's malignant or benign.
Mm-hmm.
And our project had a about 92% accuracy, so I thought it was
Wow.
a pretty good accomplishment for me as
Wow.
a eighth grader actually. So that was one of my projects I was really proud of. And yeah, that one was cool because I really got to understand, how to implement like Python and AI into healthcare. And that's where I
Mm-hmm.
realized, there's so much potential for AI in healthcare.
Mm.
By researching and just like, actually doing the project.
Okay.
So this year in the science fair, I'm going to participate again as my third
Mm-hmm.
time participating.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm doing a healthcare assistant app. So basically, this app, what it does is we're going to put in like, you can ask it a question. Let's say you're asking a really specific question for, your personalized healthcare needs. And
Mm-hmm.
say you're going on to your like you have a medical report that you just got and you need to
Mm-hmm.
put it into somewhere and ask it some questions, right? Like,
Mm-hmm.
why is this happening? What are my past symptoms from the past 2 months? And or even a staff-based question. Staff could ask it like this patient, how many patients in the past have had arthritis in the past few
Mm-hmm.
months, or something like that. So these personalized queries can be answered by like a healthcare assistant. Like for example, you can take a healthcare organization like Kaiser or Sutter Health. They
Mm-hmm.
don't have a chat bot that can answer personalized questions that you can upload your own, personalized documents that will be private. There's going to be an authentication. It's not going to just go out to the world. You can't just put this in any other ChatGPT or another LLM because your information has to be private, right? So this is
Right.
kind of what I'm working on right now. I can show this presentation that we have been working on.
So would you say that it can kind of replace doctor consultations to
It's
some
not going
degree?
to replace doctor consultations, but it will help you get, it's going to help with accessibility, right? Like you need to ask a question immediately. You
Mm.
do not get proactive answers from healthcare services right now.
Mm.
It, especially in the US, I feel like it's really hard to get,
Okay.
proactive answers for questions that we have. So this will actually help people in the future.
Okay. Okay.
We're still kind of working on this because the project isn't completely, coded and fixed yet, but I could share my screen to show what we're kind of working on.
Do you have a team that's working on it together, or is just you
So my friend is helping a little bit with the
coding part?
project part of it. My yeah, no, my we're actually doing this as a non-coding project because
Okay.
as you can see right now, there are many, many AIs that can help with coding, and we've
Yes.
noticed that they're actually working, and all we have to do is actually implement the code and run it on, we're running it on Snowflake, which is, really easy for us to use. It's a platform where we can run it, and we're also using a UI called Streamlit, and so everything is really, it's a non-coding project, I feel like.
Okay.
Any errors that we have, we just have to run it again with the AI, and yeah. And this also, we are also not using a any data set to get the information. We're making our own data set. We're making a synthetic data set
Okay.
using AI. So we're going to be making, unstructured and structured data. Yeah.
Mm. See.
This way, we're not, invading any privacy or
Mm.
taking any information that we're not supposed to use, right?
Hmm.
Here is the project.
Okay. So if I'm understanding it correctly, you and your friends are basically giving the framework and using AI assistants to help you out with implementing it and making the
Exactly.
project. Okay, got it, got it. That's super smart.
Yeah. I feel like it would be much more efficient because if we actually
Mhm.
were to code it, it would take a lot more
Lot,
time. And I
yeah.
don't have that much time as a high schooler. So I feel like this is actually seeming to work.
Okay,
So we can kind of take a look at
okay. Why don't you? I mean, you've already kind of given us a
kind of
brief
give me,
about
yeah.
it. Yeah. Would you be able to run us quickly through the slides? Maybe give us a little
Yes.
bit
Sure.
sneak peek into the
All
project.
right. Yep. So this, of course, like I said, this is the title, Improving Healthcare Access with AI-Powered Medical Assistance.
Mm-hmm.
And so the problem statement is like current systems fail to, combine constraints like gender, language, distance, cost, availability. There's so many different
Mm-hmm.
attributes. And these current, Kaiser or Sutter Health, they do not have a chat bot or something that could get proactive answers to personalized questions, right? So this is what our project is going to do. And the question could be, how can a generative AI model be developed to provide accurate, personalized medical advice and improve healthcare communication? So that's kind
Mm-hmm.
of, outcome that we are trying to get out of this. So results, we're still gonna, upload pictures of code and everything that we put into
Mm-hmm.
this, our framework diagrams, of course.
Mm-hmm.
But these are some of the steps that we use to get through this project. So we started off with by creating, sample questions that patient and staff could use. And these are some of the questions. And then we created our synthetic data. And we used Claude, an AI assistant, to generate the code to run this to get the synthetic data. Yeah, and then we had to create a YAML file for the model to understand the questions, of course. And we used the Cortex search service
Mm-hmm.
to for the health queries part of it.
Understood.
And then last, we used a Mistral 7B, the model,
Mm.
to fine-tune our we fine-tune the model to use the synthetic data sets.
Understood.
And then
Understood.
lastly, we put a Streamlit application on top of that to make it easy for users to, ask a question. But yeah,
That is wonderful.
we're still kind of working on this. It's a project that's going right now. But
Mm.
yeah, so I'm really excited to, you know, get this project out there. I feel like it actually could help people, and if we actually took it pretty far.
Yeah, it definitely sounds like this is something I would use too. Because yes, a
Yeah.
lot of these custom personalized queries, we don't get accurate answers to this. How long do you think it's gonna take for you guys to finish it, or maybe at least set out the first prototype?
I mean, we're actually almost pretty much done. So I think we'll be done by like either this weekend or next weekend. Yeah.
Okay, okay, understood, understood. All right.
Mhm.
Um, okay, I have one follow-up question. So, in one of the projects you mentioned, you used CNN. What got you into it? I mean, I understand how you got interested in medical science and because of your dad, because of your grandpa. Um,
Mhm.
how would you say your introduction to tech and coding uh, get started? Got
So
started.
tech and coding. So basically, my dad actually works at Snowflake, and he's a solutions architect there. So he really showed me, the way that there's also another way of implementing, healthcare into AI into healthcare. This is how, like I would not know the different platforms like Snowflake, and he kind of gave us those resources, you know what I mean? Like
Mm,
these different resources that AI is here, and this is how you can use it to help you in your projects, kind of like that.
okay, so your dad was kind of a he introduced you to it was also kind of a facilitator and him
Yeah.
being from a tech background really helped.
Yeah.
Okay, so you would say that growing up we should introduce tech and AI to kids as soon as possible.
As soon as possible. Because
Okay.
because they literally AI is growing so fast right now, and I mean like as teenagers, we're just just getting used to it, and we use it like in our daily lives. Like there's different like AI assistants like ChatGPT, Claude, and like DeepSeek. We're using all of these in like other tasks, but I feel like there's also a way to make those um, into really potential projects that could help people. You know what I mean?
So my next question would be, um, what challenges did you encounter during your early projects, and how would you say you overcame them?
So in the coding projects, at least, there's always errors. So there'll be
Mm,
like different types of errors. Like So we definitely had to research and watch videos on how to like fix those errors.
Mm,
And I noticed that it was really hard because the AI usually doesn't code it completely right, so you're gonna definitely
mm,
have errors.
yeah.
So really going back and fixing those errors took me some time, but I, I had some help with fixing the errors because my dad was able to, lead me in the
Mm,
right direction. But
mm.
after that, it was pretty smooth. Yeah, so I would say.
Uh, would you say that y- without your dad's expertise, had your dad not been a tech person, let's say, and you only had your exposure to medical sciences through your grandpa, would you say that it would have taken you longer, or uh, getting to where you are today, it would have been harder to get here?
I think having a mentor or someone that can guide you is really helpful, but there's
Mm,
always many different projects that you can do still without a mentor.
mm,
Like for example, my first project, my science fair project that I
mm,
did it like all by myself. So basically like I said, I'm really interested in art as well. So I wanted to do something where I can, combine my passion for art and music. I used to play the piano. And
oh,
so I wanted to combine those with my passion for science. So I found a
mm,
project so I would did color therapy and music therapy on plants. So what I
okay.
did was I conducted an experiment where there was a control group for like sunflower plants that would be exposed to, the same water, soil, sunlight,
Mm,
except they wouldn't have been played classical music for 1 hour a day and wouldn't be surrounded by red and blue papers,
mm,
instruction like papers.
mm,
And so that was kind of the color therapy and music therapy part of it. And I noticed that the group with the experimental group, the one that was
mm,
played music every day, had a higher growth rate actually.
mhm,
And the way that I measured this was like, the leaves that were being produced and the stem growth was
mm.
actually like twice as much as the one without.
Oh, wow.
So that project was kind of something I did by myself. It was my first science fair project. And one challenge that came up in the middle was that I was leaving for vacation during my experiment. So who
Mm.
would water my plants? So I made a self-irrigation system for the plants. So
Wow.
that while I would be leaving, it would just, water itself. So we
Mm,
grabbed, there was like these I forgot the name, but there were like these strings or these white strings that you would put into water, like one water bowl, and you'd put it into the plants. And it was like multiple strings. And then they would like water the plants over the couple weeks that I was gone. And it seemed to work.
okay. What I hear is that you have a lot of creativity. I also hear that you're a problem solver.
Thank you, thank you.
Because if I were you, I think I would have stopped at, oh, who's gonna water my plants? Let me just hug it. But you did it anyway. So
Yeah,
that is inspiring. Okay.
thank you.
Um, how did you? Okay, you said that you wanted to do with something with color therapy, and music therapy. How did you come? What made you decide that, okay, I'm gonna do sunflowers?
So that's another thing. So we started off with like these other seeds. I think it was like what was it called? I think there were different type of seed, but that growth was actually really, really slow. And I had my science fair in like 2 months, and I was like, I don't have enough time for this to grow, right? So I researched and I was like, which seed will grow fast enough so that I could finish my experiment in time? And I found that sunflower seeds were growing, the fastest in this scenario. And
Mm,
I actually found some other projects on like sunflower seeds, and I thought that, they were growing faster. So that's why I picked those.
okay, understood, understood. Okay,
Yeah.
that's strategic.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're a strategist too. Okay. Next question is again on mentorship and learning. Um, I know two of your main role important characters in your life would be your grandpa and your dad, but let me ask this question again. Who have been your mentors or role models in your STEM journey, and how have they influenced you? Now, your dad and your grandpa have been um, well, a part of how you started with STEM, but you can also mention maybe some role models that you looked up to growing up, um,
Mhm.
whatever comes in your mind.
Yeah. So I also was fortunate to go to this Girls in STEM in Berkeley summer camp. So
Oh,
that really exposed me to like real world research. And I did this in the summer of like sixth through seventh.
mm-hmm.
And there were some really experienced professionals in STEM over there. And they really exposed me, I feel like, um, to STEM. And I noticed that there's so many different fields in medicine. Before this, I was just like, I was just going to go into pediatrics, and I
Oh,
didn't really see that there was any other field there because I'm really passionate about like helping kids. I also teach
mm-hmm.
like little kids art over the summer. So
Mm-hmm.
I mentor this like elementary students for science fairs. So
Wow.
I really like teaching kids. So I was
Mm-hmm.
really interested in pediatrics, but then after I learned that, there's so many different fields, and this is only because of my exposure to like these mentors I've had over summer camps, I feel like.
Okay, okay. Um, these mentors that you mentioned, what were their ages? Were they
Yeah, they
adults
were
or
actually they just graduated from like Berkeley.
okay,
Um, yeah, it's called the Girls in STEM and Engineering Berkeley Summer Camp. Yeah, but this is a really good.
okay,
Yeah.
okay. Understood, understood.
Mhm.
Um, and why are you interested in teaching children? Is it because you like children or you feel like you like the idea of showing them the right, I don't know, showing them the right path or like teaching them good things? Where does
Yeah,
the passion come from?
yeah, I like teaching children because they're really curious. They will ask questions that will make me also have to go and research a little bit to teach them, right? So
Yes.
I feel like I was teaching this kid for his science fair.
Mm-hmm.
It just happened actually, and we were doing an experiment on the comparing different hydration drinks, like the electrolytes in different hydration drinks, and
Mm.
he's asking me questions about how like like how do electrolytes work, like how is this helping our bodies. He's asking so many different questions at just the age of like 10 or 11 or 12 or something like that, and I'm just like, this is crazy because I'd have to explain to him electrical conductivity to a
Mm.
fifth grader, and I was like, this is going to require me to research too. So I feel
Mm.
like helping children makes me learn too with them.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, okay. So you're fascinated by the curiosity that kids have.
Yeah,
Okay. All right, all right. But do you also find them cute?
they're also, yeah, of course, they're so cute and they're funny, they make me laugh. I'm like, yeah.
Mm. They're a lot of fun to hang with. I agree
Yes.
with that. Okay. Um, what key lessons have you learned that you'd like to share with other young girls interested in STEM?
So I would say really be fearless. Like don't be scared to jump into different types of fields. Like AI is like it seems really complex because coding and all of that seems like really complex, but really
Mm-hmm.
if you think about it, if you understand, the framework or like
Mm-hmm.
the way that it works more than the like each and every line of code, I feel like
Yes.
you can really understand it and you'd be really happy with the things you can do with it, right? There's
Mm-hmm.
so many different projects that we can get out of this. And there's so many ways to combine our interests. For example, like my passion for art and music and science. I was able to combine plant biology, music, and science. So don't be afraid of like exploring different fields, jump into them and see if you can come up with something that you like through that.
Would you say
Yeah.
that, yeah, okay. Would you say that um, the advancement we have made with regards to AI and tech now, like you mentioned, AI assistants as well, they can code for you and you can just do the debugging part, uh, has made our labor work much easier. Um, do you think had it not been this, let's say, 7 years ago, when AI was not as widely used, would you say it would have taken more time? There would have been more resistance to getting introduced or getting comfortable with tech-related projects or implementing uh, projects that need coding, hardcore coding, knowing algorithms and data structures.
Yeah, so I mean, wait, what was your question again? Sorry, I feel like
All right, okay.
I was.
I was saying, since now it's very, information is easily accessible. There are AI agents to help you code. So even if you're not very smooth with the syntaxes, or even if you're not very good with coding, like you said,
Mm,
if you know the framework, you can make AI make it for you, and you can do the debugging, learn on the go. Um,
mm,
let's say a decade ago, we didn't have AI agents, or we didn't have AI assistants. So
mm,
unless you knew hardcore coding, there would be a little more resistance to uh, complete projects that you're like the projects that you're making today, um,
mhm.
that needs coding.
Yeah.
Now we have AI. So would you say that had it not been had we not had this AI and tech advancements, would you say there would have been more resistance to getting more AI equipped people, or tech equipped people, or equipping people with AI and tech skills that can help them make projects, had it not been the advancements that we've made in the last few years?
Yeah, so if you're talking about particularly AI or tech,
Mm,
if they wanted to really make projects with AI and tech, then I feel like these advancements really have helped in multiple ways. As they move us forward because they take up half of the work, or probably like 80% of the work that we're actually doing. But I feel like there's still so many ways to make um, different projects through not just
mm,
AI and tech, but through STEM, like
mm,
science and engineering. You can make a
mm.
prototype. You can do something with food sciences. I think there's different ways, yeah, to make a project that stands out.
Understood. Okay. Um, okay, this one you've already answered. The questions, are there any current projects or goals you're working towards? Project you've already shown us. Um, would you say there are other goals that you're working towards currently? But what is your
Yeah,
plan in the next, I don't know, 4 years?
so my plan in the next few years, I'm aiming towards, a BSMD program, but
Mm,
that's a very large stretch. I feel like it's extremely competitive, especially for my school, to get
mm,
into a BSMD program.
mm,
Um, but that means I'm gonna have to work really hard for the next 4 years. That means, taking different APs, working hard in each of my classes. I have to get, good grades, of course, and I have to volunteer, which
mm.
I love volunteering. Like I actually teach seniors over the weekends at different
Wow.
centers. It's really fun for me. I love volunteering. Um,
How does it feel to teach seniors? Because you're the younger one there.
yeah, it seems a little crazy first. You're like, what? Like, how am I teaching them? But it's kind of just like art. We're just gonna, show them how to draw a simple painting or make them feel, like
Mm,
like they have some creativity and they can just go free with their paint in their hands and feel free and creative. Yeah.
understood. Do you find yourself getting conscious about not seeming obnoxious, because you feel like I'm younger than them in age, so I need to always look humble?
Yeah. They'll be like, "Oh, wow, you're so good at this." Like I'll just be like, "Yeah, thank you so much." Like, but I really like sometimes I'll feel a little bit overwhelmed, but then I feel
Mm,
like I'm somewhat helping them because, they're just like in a senior care center and I don't know what if they have that creative touch still with them, or, they're really
mm.
bored and they want to just have some fun. Like I feel like that's kind of the way I think about it.
I love your perspective on things and how you look at the bigger picture. Okay. Um, how do you plan on continue? How do you plan to continue growing and innovating in your field going ahead?
I plan to change, I feel like these projects are really what helped me grow this much that I've came to here. So
Mm-hmm.
I want to continue doing a science fair project every year, or even, if I'm free, just think of some idea that could help someone or that could really make me stand out. I think, put some effort and figure out what I like and see how to combine my interests into a project that could
Mm-hmm.
really be innovative. Yeah.
Okay. So what I'm understanding here is that you love learning through projects.
Yeah. I feel I'm much more of like a if you do it, then you'll kind of learn more type of person. Like I like to
Mm,
jump into it first and then learn on the way. I feel like that's my approach.
understood, understood. Would you recommend young people or kids growing up to jump into making projects? Do you think that's an efficient way of learning in general?
I think an efficient way is, especially with like time. Time is something that helps me too. I feel like if there's like a certain soft boundary that or soft deadline that I need to reach, I have
Mm,
a way of kind of, backwards planning and then figuring out
right.
what project I can do during that time.
Mm-hmm.
So the way that I have that soft deadline is because of science fairs. So if there's like
Mm,
an engineering fair or a science fair around you, I think um, really, try to make a project for that or dive into it. It'll help
mm,
you learn research. It'll help you learn how to actually like you'll learn a lot through the project. That's what I've learned so much through just 3 projects so far, and it'll help you learn more about technology and what's really happening around the world that you can kind of implement into your own projects. I feel like
mm, mm. I remember you mentioning about the Berkeley Girls Science
Mm,
Fair. Was it Science Fair?
girls in STEM, yeah, the Berkeley
Girls in
Girls
STEM.
in STEM summer camp, yeah.
Would you say it was like a pivoting point in your life? Because you said if you had you not gone there, you would have taken a different path. So would you say exposure to, uh, you know, I personally feel that since you saw the graduate girls over there doing projects and being smart, being impressive, I think you got inspired as well. Would you say that um, showcasing or advertising or being more vocal about other women or just learning more about telling people more about women in tech or helping them get exposure to knowing more about how women can be leaders, women can be doing great things in STEM, really helps create a change in their mindset that, oh, this person is doing that, I didn't know that was possible, and if she can do it, I can do it too.
Yeah, definitely. Like when I was at that camp, there were so many different like mentors there or like girls in STEM that were really inspiring. They would talk about like different projects that they've done or what they're researching as of right now. And then I realized that there's so much more to medicine and like biology than just like pediatrics or like biology. There's like biotechnology. There's like um, plant biology. There's so many different fields, and I feel like
Mm,
I only got that exposure because I applied for the camp. I went there, and I wanted to learn. I was open to learning as much as I could there while I was there.
mm, mm.
So yeah, mentors definitely, they were very inspirational to me, I think.
Understood, understood. Okay, so focus support, would you say focus support towards girls in today's time, in today's day and age, would you say focus support towards helping more women get into STEM, more girls get into STEM is needed, required?
Yes, it's definitely required. I feel like sometimes as girls, we might think that, oh, we can only do this or that because of the boundaries or that, our peers or our teachers kind of set up for us. But we
Hmm.
should make it more open. Like, this is technology. For example, like when I started up, I was in a Python class as an elective
Mm.
in my middle school. I had noticed that there's like 90% of the class is just guys, and there was like three girls in the entire class. So it can be kind of overwhelming, I feel like, because there's not as many girls in that class.
Yeah.
But like I realized that, if they're doing it, I can do it too. Like
Mm.
more girls might make us, feel like, oh, we there's, a support system here for us. We can actually go into this field, that type of thing.
Yeah. Okay. I had one question. If you do music as well, you do art as well, but you're also a tech person. Um, when you do music as a when you learn music, or when you do your when you do fine art, you don't necessarily feel special because there are so many girls who do fine art, so many girls who do music, right? Would you say that you feel a little more special when you think about how you are a tech person? Like you mentioned here in the
Yeah.
Python class, it was just three girls. So does it make you feel a little more, little special when you think about how you're skilled in tech? Because you don't see a lot of girls doing that
Yeah.
usually, generally.
Yeah, I definitely felt more, I felt really unique
Mm,
as a person, like being in that environment and me being
mm,
only one of the three girls there. And then, making a project like AI-driven skin cancer detection. Like, I
mm.
haven't heard any of my friends doing things like that. So I felt, yeah,
Yeah.
definitely felt a little special or unique in that sense.
Hmm. It's kind of a rarity, right?
Yeah, definitely.
It is getting better, but still, I would say even for me, growing up, I did not see a lot of girls who were maybe one or two out of many who were. I saw a lot of girls very good at biology, but very few who were interested in physics. um
Mhm.
some of it was also because of social conditioning, I guess, and just if there are more boys in the class, like Python class, they're just
Yeah,
more invested together doing projects together, and if it's just three girls, we're just three minds. I think that's definitely there. So focus groups are one way you can help uplift them. Can you think of other, I don't know, other ways we can uplift girls or inspire them to explore tech and not feel like getting into tech is makes them unique, or feel different?
yeah. Another way we can do it, I think, is, of course, setting up like role models.
Mm,
This person went into this field, this female went into this field, and she came out really successful.
mm,
And she did go through some hurdles, but this is the thing that came out of it. She really got to know that she was good in this field, or that she was able to thrive in that field. I think that would be really inspirational to me, for example. Like if I saw a female going into AI in healthcare and she made it out really successful, I think that's really inspirational to me. Or even just different types of, like projects that we could do
mm,
that really combine different interests. Like, for example, plant biology and art, or something like
mm,
that.
mm,
Or um, like coding and health, right? Like healthcare assistant,
mm.
or skin cancer detection, or like medical imaging, something like, I feel like that combining interests would be really
Finding
inspirational.
interest.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
because that's where girls would be like, oh, there's a way for me to implement my passion into this,
Mm,
into my field of tech, right?
mm.
That's really interesting.
Yeah, and like you'd mentioned, sharing the success stories of women in tech. We are going to be sharing your story, so you're going to be one of, maybe you're going to be one of those, you know, in some girl's life, you will be the inspiration. Oh, I saw this girl; she was 15 years old and she did this. I'm going to do that too. Okay.
Yeah.
Um, can you share your experience as a young global AI ambassador? How do you feel about it?
I mean, like as an ambassador, I haven't really, done much yet in the Jetlearn company yet, because I just started. But being into health AI so far has been really eye-opening to me, because I feel like it's just advancing so fast, and I'm learning all of the things it can do.
Yeah.
And that's really interesting to me. Like I learned about convolutional neural networks and
Mm.
how they can analyze different images, right? And
Right.
how that can be, um, how that can aid doctors into detection, early detection. I thought that was one of the like crazy parts for me about AI. I was like, wow, this is going to take up so many jobs. Like,
Mm.
it's really taking out, for example, for me, if I'm going into healthcare as a doctor, I feel like diagnosis is going to be completely AI is probably going to take over diagnosis, and it's going to make medical fields a lot more maybe surgery based at this point because diagnosis
Mm.
is completely. I feel like I just created a project at as an eighth grader on how to
Mm.
early detect. So there's a lot to think about with AI, I feel like.
Mm. I think that will also help make healthcare cheaper, right?
Yes, of course. That was also one of my yeah, we want to make it low cost and really
Mm.
efficient.
Mm. Um, what advice would you give to young girls aspiring to enter STEM? If you had to point them out one by one.
Yeah, yeah. So, it really depends on what your interest in is, your interest is in STEM.
Mm.
You should, for me, it was mainly about, science, and technology. So I took those two and I really went off with it. I created different projects and learned a lot throughout the way. I learned a lot about science and technology. So I would say my biggest advice is dive really deep into your skills or passions, and that can help you, thrive in that field.
Understood, understood. The next question is kind of similar. How can listeners follow your journey or get involved with STEM? I think you've already kind of answered this in the
Yeah.
previous question. It's the same. Um, well, okay. I think that's it for the questions here that I was supposed to ask you. Um, we might set up another call. Uh, I might have follow-up questions. It was
Yeah,
an
yeah.
amazing session. Thank you so much for sharing your journey. I'm very grateful for the person you are, for the just the resilience and having a heart of gold, having the desire to help people. Um, I'm looking forward to what the future holds for you, and I hope that this podcast is able to inspire young girls to follow, to having seen you do this. Maybe they will also start thinking that they are capable of doing this too, and this is not just for the boys or the men. um
Yeah.
all right. I look forward to your projects. I hope, let's stay in touch.
Yes.
Yeah, it was amazing to talk to you. I guess the next meeting is going to be with Ria.